You're moving into your new construction home only to find a cracked window, a chip in the countertop, and one of the appliances isn't working. Well, in this video, I'm going to show you how you can eliminate those types of issues and even more. Are you thinking, oh no, more stress added to building a house? Well, I'm here to break it down and simplify. Hi, I'm Frazell and welcome to my channel. I really love new construction and I've been doing it for a lot of years. I really like helping people through the whole process from start to finish. So, the punch list, when you walk that house before, again, I'm going to mention this, before you close on that property, are the items that need to be either repaired, fixed, or replaced. Now, as in earlier videos, I mentioned this, houses are made out on site. It's not an assembly line, so there are going to be imperfections. So let's go back to that punch list. You're going to walk that house with your realtor. Could be the builder superintendent, might be the builder, it depends on the size of the building company. And you're gonna write down those little items and you're gonna go from room to room. Why do they call it punch list? And I used to kid all my clients because if it's a long list, because the builder or the super has not caught all the imperfections as they're going, you hand that list to either the builder or the super, someone wants to punch someone. Now I know that's not how it originated. Punch list used to be people punch holes in paper. That's neither here nor there. It's called a punch list. So when you walk a house, you make a punch list. So it's very important that you do a thorough walkthrough, because I'm going to make another little sidebar here that if you think that it's going to be taken care of after you move in, you're in for a big surprise. You still owe that builder money and he wants his money, and how he's going to get his money is at close. So, sorry to say, but you do have a little bit of leverage here. If that house isn't to your liking, you don't have to close on it. Now, I don't want to tell people don't close on the house because the builder might say, I'm not going to extend it and you're out of contract. But it does give you leverage to say, because he's motivated to get his money. So if there's an item in there or numerous, you want those done before you close on the property. And typically what you'll do just before closing of that date, you'll come back usually about 2 days before to make sure, because you have that list of items that needed to be addressed and you can go back and see. Now I've had it in the past where they say they're done. No, they weren't completely done. Sorry, we're still not closing. I can be very persistent on this because I know once you sign on the dotted line, you don't want to set another plate at the table, because when you move in, subs are coming back all the time. They're there constantly. You waited 6-8 months for that house to be built. You want to be in that house. You don't want to be entertaining subs coming back. That house should have been finished when you go to close. And that's why it's extremely important to find the items that you need to have repaired that you're not comfortable with and have it done before you close on that property. So I know right now that I'm talking about you putting a punch list together. Now, for me to do a punch list, after all the years I've spent building houses and selling new construction, it's a piece of cake. I'm a professional. But let's say this is your first time ever buying a home. Now you're expected to find or be able to pick out flaws. Some might be flaws and some might be acceptable practices. It can be stressful. So here's another little tip that I do. Whether you're in my area or anywhere in the world, I recommend getting what I call a certified home inspector. Okay, so they go out there before you close on that property and they walk that house. They have a complete breakdown of every room, whether it be exterior, interior. They have just like a regular home inspection, but this is for new construction. And my inspector even goes as far as blue taping, giving blue tape to the people, so when you do see something, you mark it with the blue tape, and videoing it. So that takes the pressure off you, because you're already under enough stress to get ready to move, to close on. Your whole life is going to change. You're going to be moving into a new home. This certified home inspector will come in. You can follow him around. He'll also show you how the house works and say the operation of, say, the furnace, the air conditioning, fireplace. Sometimes even turning on a fireplace can be tricky. And then what it also does, it has it noted. So when you do go back and you go to do that final walkthrough, checking to make sure everything's done, you have a printout of it. So there's no disputing it. And also the builder gets a copy of it. So everybody is on the same page. So I highly recommend, if you're not familiar or if you haven't built enough homes or owned enough homes, that you do get a certified home inspector, and it's going to make your life a hell of a lot easier. So another important note is make sure when you write up the offer for this home, for the new construction, that you put it in terms and condition that you're allowed to have a third-party inspector for a walkthrough before closing, and that the builder will honor that and acknowledge it. Large national builders have their own process as far as doing a walkthrough, again, blue taping the house or doing a punch list. So they're very thorough. And actually one national builder out here, they have 3 sets of eyes. The first guy goes in, does the walkthrough, second guy comes back, and then he goes through the first guy's punch list, then he finds more, and then a third guy comes back. So it's a pretty in-depth. And again, the larger builders, they don't want to be holding on to that house any longer than they have to do. They have a closing date and they want to meet it. Now, your smaller builders, they might not have that extensive process in place, but so that's why it's important to do a punch list. Another tip I'm going to give you here is do not become confrontational. No one wants to deal with someone who's angry or upset. So I understand this might be annoying. You're paying a lot of money for this house, but just let it go through the process and get to the finish line. This will take time and concentration. So leave the kids at home, the pets, the relatives, the friends. It'll be far easier to be able to focus on the task at hand. So if you're going to do the walkthrough, the punch list by yourself or with your realtor without an inspector, this is what I'm going to suggest that you bring: a pencil and a pad, and also a 1/2-inch blue tape. And also maybe a yardstick, like a 3-foot yardstick, because some of these areas that you're going to have to blue tape is going to be higher than you can reach, so it just makes it a little bit easier. Okay, so here's how you're going to do a punch list. And as I mentioned, either you're doing it by yourself, or if you were using that home inspector, it's the same format and the same process. Now, what this video is more or less a Reader's Digest version of a home inspection or that punch list. Typically, a walkthrough or making of the punch list, it's about a 2.5-hour process. So I'm giving you the different categories, but I'm not going to delve into every one in this video, but it's basically a baseline that you're going to use. So how I start my exterior walkthrough is at the front door. I always go in one direction all the way around the home, taking my time. Now, I'm going to be looking at the exterior walls, the windows, the doors, the garage overhead door, the exterior lighting, faucets, gutters, roof, grading, landscaping, and foundation. Those are just the major items, but whatever you think that might not be right, this is the time to write it down on your list. Okay, I'll break it down. For example, your exterior walls. I'm looking for cracks in siding. Siding is missing, loose, or not painted. Then into the windows. Broken windows, missing trim, caulk, missing screens. Doors, overall condition. Have the permanent locks, and are they painted? The garage overhead door. Weather stripping. Is there dent or damage or missing even the garage door opener? Exterior lighting. How about, are they secure? Do they have the light bulbs in them, and are they working? The exterior faucets, your hose bibs, everything look complete there? Your gutters, are they completed? Do they have the downspouts for that? Are they completed? Roof, now you're not going to go up on the roof, but you can step back, you can look up there. Is there debris up there? Bundles of shingles still left, or even shingles missing up there? The grading and landscaping. Now that can be a tricky one. again, you're not the builder out there, so I don't want to put that kind of pressure on you that you're supposed to know what the right pitch or the grade should be around the house. So that's why it's important that maybe the person that you're working with, your realtor or that superintendent, that you can have a discussion about how it should be properly graded. You always want water to run away from the house. Also too, you don't want piles of dirt or rocks or anything left in the back, because you don't want to inherit those. Those should be all gone. And if you had landscaping, is it to your satisfaction? Did they put the right plants in? Is the sod down, or if it's hydroseeded? It's those kind of things that you're looking for everything. That's why I'm saying it's a time-consuming process, but if you do it, now is the time you're going to catch these imperfections. The foundation. So let's say it's a crawl space. So crawl spaces have vents. You want to make sure that the vents aren't damaged, that they work, they close, they open. If it's a basement, they have window wells. So window wells, a lot of times there'll be debris down there, and they should have gravel in there for water to be leached into. And also some of them, it depends on the well itself, have ladders. So either they have a built-in ladder or a hung ladder in there. Make sure that's in place. Now, I'm going to go into the interior of the home. And the first thing that I like to do is turn on all the lights in the house. That's the first thing. And I'm going to start again at the front door, and I'm going to work my way around each room. So I'm going to be looking at the walls, the ceilings, the floors, the windows, and the doors. So let's just use the hallway. Okay, so you've got the front door. Is the front door closing? Is the correct lock on that right now? Is the weather strip underneath the door? You can't see any light coming through. And now I just walk the walls, and I'm looking up and down. I have my blue tape in my hand, and if something is either like a big mark, a scratch, now again, you're not going to look at a little piece on the wall and say that's an imperfection, because now it's really going to, you'll spend days doing something like that. You look for the most obvious things that just catch your eye. Once you do the walls, then you come back and you do the ceiling. You look up at that. Now, while you're looking at the ceiling, look at the lights. Are the light bulbs in place? Well, if the lights are on, you're going to see if they're working. You walk around doing that. So you just do that whole scenario from each room. You always start at the door. You go into the bedroom, you're going to start at that door, and you're going to go all the way around. So a bedroom obviously is going to have a window. You check the windows. But you have your little checklist as you go, as I just mentioned, and you just keep checking it off. It's time consuming, but now you just look for those imperfections. So now also too, because you're on the interior, you're going to have additional items that you're going to have to check out. You're going to have your heating, your air conditioning, your water heater, your plumbing, your lighting, your appliances, and your electrical. So there's an additional list of items that you're going to have to check off as you're going through those rooms. Okay, say for the heat, you're going to raise the temperature and wait for it to kick on. And you're going to do the same situation for the AC. It all depends on the time of the year. Now, if it's winter time, the AC is not going to come on. And typically in the summertime, if you're trying to get the heat to come on, it doesn't work that way. So again, it's that time of the year that you're going to check that certain heating element. The second one is turn on all the faucets. Make sure the water comes out. Now, in the past, I've had it many a times, don't know why, but the plumbers get it reversed. So typically your hot water is on the left side. Well, they have a tendency of switching them. It's an easy fix, but you don't want to be messing with that. Put it on your list, and the plumber will correct that. The next one, flush all the toilets. Now, depends on, you're not going to be able to flush them all at one time, but just whatever you want to do. Single story, it's easy to walk around, flush each toilet. I usually run the sinks at the same time, go to the next bathroom. And what I like to do too is, say in the main bathroom where there's a tub shower, I'll run the tub with that water, I'll flush the toilet, and I'm going to run the faucet, because I want to see how that water pressure holds up. And if there's a real discrepancy there, you might want to put that on your list, because it's possible maybe there's a little bit of debris in one of the faucets or something's plugged up a little bit. Again, now's the time to put it on that list. You're going to look at the appliances. Appliances have a habit, don't know why, of getting goofed up, either from the delivery or during the construction. So let's say it's typically the oven range combination. There could be a nick in it, it could be a scratch, it could even be not working correctly, the electronics. I've had that happen in the past. So let's say it's gas, cooktop, turn it on, make sure all the burners are coming on. throw the oven on. Then go over to microwave, I don't know, just for a minute, just to make sure that's working. And the refrigerator, inspect that. Because one thing that you want to do is catch it now, because it's real easy for someone down the road to say, well, you did it after you moved in. If you put it on your piece of paper and you make a picture, you've already noted, so there's really no argument to be had. And another one too is a fireplace. Most of the fireplaces are gas fireplaces. So unlike the old type of fireplace where you put wood in there, typically now it's a gas with fake logs, ceramic logs there, and you throw a switch on and boom, off they go. And you have instant fire. So what I'm saying here is that throw that on, make sure the switch that you do, because you just throw it on by the switch, and it'll take, let's say 5 minutes or so, and normally there's a little fan underneath there and you'll hear that kick on. Now you got to make sure though that's part of the fireplace option, that it does have a fan. Now a little thing that you're going to notice, if this is the first time that fireplace is going on, it's going to smell. That's the paint that they put on at the factory that it's going to be burning off. So it'll smell for a little bit, that initial startup, and it'll probably last, it'll be in the house probably for a good half a day, if you will. Open the windows or what have you to get that smell, but after that, then you're good to go. The lights, make sure all the lights work. Like I said, you've turned them on, so now go back and just, as you're walking the house, and what I typically do is now the lights are all on, I've done my walkthrough, obviously that light is working as I'm in there, I turn it off. So as I'm finishing up my walkthrough, I'm actually turning the lights off as I'm walking back towards the front door, so I don't have to go back all over the house again and be turning lights off. Just saving some steps. So more or less that's kind of what your basic walkthrough punch list. Now normally somebody from the building company is there, their superintendent, someone from the office, they're going to be able to witness what you're seeing. So that way when you do, they hand that in, the builder's probably going to say, well, yes, was it messed up? And he's going to be a witness and saying yes. He's also going to be writing it down too. So that way all the stuff that you discuss, and he'll also tell you too, no, that's acceptable practice right there, or if it's something, obviously he'll say, yeah, that needs to be corrected. He'll write that down, and then he'll give you a copy, and the other copy obviously goes to the builder, and that's when they jump on that to get that finished before close. And also too, if you brought in a home inspector for new construction, like I said, there's a complete ledger that he's made for that whole house, and they get a copy of it too. So that's another way that you can do it. But typically, someone from the building company, because they've already scheduled that appointment with you, they're going to be on site with you too. Now here's what I do for my clients. So even though you're watching this video, you could be on the other part of the country. This is something that I think that you should bring up to your realtor. I hire an independent third-party new home construction inspector at my expense. Now let me explain. They'll come out there at the walkthrough and they'll make their report of all the items that we had mentioned. So again, it makes it for you a lot easier. Normally they start in our area about $400 for the inspection, and it's very thorough. That report will then go to the builder. So now you have everything documented. What I do at the end, because I'm going to have you pay for that inspection up front, because let's say you decide you don't want to buy that house at the end for whatever reason, I can't be paying for $400 inspections and people not going through the complete process at closing. After closing, then I reimburse you for that inspection. I do that because it gives you peace of mind. It gives me peace of mind too, because I know that I've hired a very good inspector to walk this house thoroughly, do a very complete report on the house, and I feel very confident about it. The inspector feels very confident about it, and the builder's going to feel very confident about it too, because he knows they're going to address the things on this report and then be done with the house and move on to their next project. If you have any questions, my contact information is listed down below, or leave a comment. Well, I hope you found this video helpful. If you would like to learn more about new construction, check out my video, part 1 of the new construction process. And don't forget, there's part 2 and there's part 3. So until next time, take care.